Salutation from Wizard Studios. I am the Wizard. We have another news episode coming to you. Before we get into it, I want to remind everybody to please give this video a thumbs up. Really helps out the channel when you do. Also, subscribe for more MMA content. Let's get right into it. First up, Anthony Smith has his house broken into by an intruder. The guy comes in screaming, thank God, that alerts Anthony Smith. He runs down the stairs, tackles the guy, and, starts landing bombs. Apparently, the altercation went on for about 6 minutes. Anthony Smith, describes it as, the hardest fight of his life. And I would have to think that it probably is, considering it is in his house. He wasn't expecting it. And, he has his family in there. We have to think about his family at this time. You really want to keep them in your thoughts. If you pray, make sure you pray for them, whatever the case may be. But just keep them in your thoughts, guys, because I can't imagine his daughter sleeping good for a long time after this. So, and his wife. That probably is going to be a big mental thing, because if somebody broke into my house, I know it would totally mess with my mind. So let's just keep them in our thoughts. And let's move forward. So Uriah Faber has his child's stroller stolen, and then he sees a homeless person with a group of homeless people with a stroller that looks like his, and he goes up to him and confronts them. I thought this was pretty funny, considering it wasn't his stroller. So you could see a little short guy like Uriah Faber walking up to a group of homeless people, trying to pick a fight with them for his daughter's stroller. And it turns out not to be hers. So I thought that was pretty hilarious. And, I hope Uriah, you find your daughter's stroller pretty soon. Considering, she needs it. I don't know, you figure Uriah Faber has enough money just to go buy another stroller, but I guess, he's the type of guy that, no, I want mine. And, so I thought that was pretty hilarious, considering he could just go buy another one, and that he, took it upon himself to go confront a group of homeless people, and it wasn't even his. So that was pretty hilarious to me. Yeah, we'll leave it at that. So Dana White is close to having, or I think he's already secured it actually, the island for top secret fights, considering now they're going to have to be top secret with everything going on. I think, it's called Fight Island. That's what everybody's calling it. Let's just, Fight Island. And I don't know. I feel like, this is cool. I think it's cool that they are, getting a location that they don't have to adhere to any rules. He's getting a lot of criticism, but, I like it. As long as there's a hospital there, I'm cool with it. And they have obviously good staff at that hospital. I'm totally cool with it. I hope that he does get it. I hope that everything, he's saying it's going to be like a month for the infrastructure and everything to be done. I don't know if they can build a hospital in a month, or if there was already one there. A bunch of people are just assuming there's no hospital. Dana White's saying there is a hospital. So I would think that there would already be a hospital there. I don't see how you could build a hospital in a month. So, I think this is good. This is really good. I would like there to be fights, right now. I want there to be fights immediately. But you got to do it right. You have to do it right. And sounds like Dana White has taken every measure to make sure that it's done the right way. At least in my opinion. A lot of people are criticizing him, saying, why are you doing this with this global pandemic and all this nonsense, but you gotta get back to normal. People have to have something to look forward to grab a hold of. Without that, it's just dull and miserable. And if he can do it the right way, then why not do it? Why not do it? So TJ Dillashaw claims that the UFC is going to give him a title shot when he returns. Says he isn't owed anything. but he wants his belt back. Now, if TJ Dillashaw comes back and gets an immediate title shot after, people were saying he was stripped. He was not stripped. He actually let go of his belt, relinquished it, before being stripped. So, I really think that, I don't think he deserves a title shot. I think he's good enough to fight for a title immediately. I do. I think that he is among the best of the best, bantamweights of all time. I really believe that. Whether he was on something the whole time, steroids, EPO, whatever, I believe that he was among the very best. But does that mean that he is deserving of a title shot? No, because he cheated. He cheated. Have to win a couple. You can't just come in and automatically just assume you're going to fight for the title because your last fight was a title bout. Because you were champion. Now, I do not think the UFC is really going to give him a title shot. I really don't. I do not believe that at all. I believe they just told TJ something just, to have him relinquish his belt so he wouldn't have to strip him maybe. Or they just told him whatever he wanted to hear because that's what they like to do sometimes. Dana White responds to comments of him being the poster boy of corporate greed. Says he doesn't have to do this. He just does it because he loves it. Now, Dana White, I don't believe that he is the poster boy of corporate greed. I think the guy's just set in his ways. When he sees something, he wants to do it. Like, all right, so these fights are, they don't have to be done. The UFC has enough money to get by. So Dana White just wants to do these fights because that is what he's used to. This is what he does. When he's not doing what he's used to doing, he's probably going a little cuckoo. I believe Dana White is set in his ways and he wants to do these fights because that is what he knows. He doesn't know sitting idle. Like, I'm not saying that he has to do it to stay busy. I'm saying that being the UFC president is who Dana White is. And while all this is going on, he can't be the UFC president. So Daniel Cormier talks about Stipe Miocic not playing the game with him. Says this is his last chance to. So this is what Daniel Cormier is talking about. Like, he wants Stipe to help him promote this fight. Stipe's never been a big time fight hyper. I believe that's why Dana White was always taking Francis's side in the title fight leading up to that bout. Now, and Stipe was really ticked about that. If you remember, he took the belt from Dana, gave it to his coach after he won the fight, and had his coach put the belt around him. Like, Stipe does not like, being disrespected. And I feel like, Daniel Cormier kind of rubs Stipe the wrong way. But it's not really going to make Stipe hype the fight, Like, the two really don't like each other anymore. It wasn't that way at the beginning, but it's grown to be that. And I believe that, Stipe is kind of like Dana White. He's stuck in his ways, and he feels like he doesn't have to hype the fight. Now, it would help him out if he did. Obviously, help selling pay-per-views. But Stipe is just, Stipe is Stipe, and he's going to do what he does. I don't see him hyping the fight at all. Daniel Cormier is going to have to do it all on his own. Disney stops UFC 249 after State Senator Dianne Feinstein calls for the event to be postponed. So, man, I don't like this. I wish that this was going to happen. I want things to get back to normal. I really feel like if Dana can put on these fights, and do it right, then they should be able to put them on. That's what I believe. I hate that this happened. Now, I've also heard, I don't know if this is true, but I've heard from a pretty reputable source, I could not confirm it, but I heard that they also were going to have, Gavin Newsom said that he was going to, raid the event if it was going to happen at the Tachi Palace and Casino Resort. Now, I don't know how Gabriel Newsom could have rated that event, considering it would have been on tribal land. So that's what makes me kind of question a little bit. But, you know, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, we are in a global pandemic, and if he would have felt like that would have been the right thing to do, I don't know, like, what kind of lawsuit that would have ended up being. But, hey, yeah, it would have been fun to see that unfold. So, before the event was going to be canceled, UFC 249, Rose Namajunas was going to fight on it. Now, she has since pulled out, and the event's also been canceled, so it doesn't even matter. But she pulled out because 2 of her family members have died from the pandemic. Now, I feel really bad for her. I don't know if they were going to be able to find anybody to replace her, but that doesn't matter now. And I feel bad for Rose because, you know, this sucks. This sucks. It's, it gets worse and worse, it seems like, all the time, every day. But, like they say, I guess it has to get worse before it gets better. And our heart goes out to Rose Namajunas. And if you're the praying type, you know, keep her in your prayers. And we'll be keeping you, you know, in our thoughts and prayers, Rose. So Josh Thompson has come out and slammed the Fight Island idea. Now, Josh has always seemed to not like Dana White, so you got to take him with a grain of salt sometimes. He says that there isn't a hospital there. Nobody knows that. Dana says that there is a hospital there, so I don't know where Josh is getting that from. Also, you know, he's saying that some of these fighters may be being forced into this. He said that Dana has tried to force people in the past to take fights, and you know, I feel like, you know, that probably did happen, but I don't think Dana White would try to pressure anybody into fighting right now. It's either you want to fight or you don't want to fight, you know? And I think that Dana, you know, I don't see how Dana could, you know, honestly pressure someone into fighting right now. I mean, say what you want to about Dana White, but I really don't see him doing that. Mackenzie Dern has stepped in to face Hannah Cifers on the May 16th card. I don't know if that fight is going to even happen now. Or excuse me, the April 25th card. So, I don't know, like, I have no idea. They seem to be thinking that maybe another week after April 18th is going to be good enough, but I just don't know. So if they're trying to still find fighters to fight on it, I'm guessing they're going to try to put it on. It was supposed to happen on the tribal land. I don't think the island is going to be ready by then. So yeah, I don't know. Like, they seem to be still trying to put cards on at later dates. That would only be 1 week later. But if they're, you know, asking Mackenzie Dern to fight on that card, I would assume they are trying to get, you know, the card going. So, and that would be a fight night. That would not be a pay-per-view event. So I honestly feel like Dana White is going to find a way to put on these events before anybody else, like he's saying he is. I just don't know if ESPN is going to let him at this point. So, we'll have to wait and see. Walt Harris and Alistair Overeem are set to headline the May 16th card. If I would guess, this would be the May 16th time would be about the time that Fight Island would be ready. Maybe it takes place there. I would guess that would probably be the spot where Dana would be most untouchable as far as governments go. I don't know who would try to, you know, stop it. If it's a private island, they don't have to adhere to anybody. I don't know how that event could be stopped, except for fighters not being able to get out of their respected countries to get there. So May 16th could be the first date. I don't see how the April 25th card is going to take place. That one is supposed to be on tribal land. I don't know even if it's on tribal land now, it seems like in the United States, there's still a way for them to get stopped. I don't know how, considering they don't have to adhere to federal government, but when there's a will, there's a way, right? And everybody seems to not want, like, these fights to take place. Like, the government, you know, does not want these fights to happen. It's hard for Dana White to do this right now with all this going on. Like, I feel like, you know, he's just going to keep getting a turd sandwich until he can finally get to the fight island. So we'll leave it at that. I want to remind everybody to give this video a thumbs up. Also, remember to subscribe for more MMA content, and we will see you in the next video.